Hi everyone, Jackson here. Welcome back to the weekly endeavours for the 23rd of December. We've got a 300 seal set, really good, with harvesting 100 resources from the world, defeating 300 enemies, and to complete 5 Battleground matches. Pretty good set. I like this one. I like this one quite a bit. So I think either one of these is fine. This is the action one. This is the chillax, watch YouTube in the background one. Just depends on what you want. This one's a little bit quicker, I say, potentially, especially if you've got Skyreach. But this one, there's not really anything wrong with either of these. Now this one, obviously if you like PvP, this is the option for you, but personally, I think the amount of time you're waiting usually for just one or two of these, you could do these ones in that same time. So this one's not a good option. If you want the Golden Pursuit Battleground options with this one, where the fuck are they? These ones. Especially since there's one weapon skin related to it, you can do that, but 5 Battleground matches, it's not the quickest option by a long shot. There's a lot of guides out there that you can look up to be able to do Battlegrounds effectively, builds and strategies and stuff. I'm not experienced or proficient when it comes to that stuff, so I wouldn't recommend listening to me about any of it. But a TLDR, it's a lot more about burst than like consistent damage like PvE is. Run a lot of defense. Have like a couple of burst skills to try and kill someone really fast, and then just basically run lots of crit, lots of health, lots of defense, and yeah, basically put all your buffs up, try and smash someone with a bunch of skills, and then after your buffs start to turn off, then just go back to defensive. That's kind of how it works usually. Yeah, work with your team as well. There's 4 or 8 people. And, you know, it's much better if you work with them instead of just going off and doing your own thing. Because safety in numbers is really strong in PvP, especially nowadays. Alright, but yeah, that's just basic shit. I'm not very good when it comes to the actual builds usually, so yeah. I think these two options are way better. So I'm going to talk about these. So first up, we'll talk about 300 enemies. I'll swap to What the Heck a Gecko, and we'll go look at some options for that one. Alright, so first off, go through the killing enemies option. The easiest of the kill X enemies with whatever options, because, you know, you just use whatever the hell you want. So, I feel like I've done Skyreach to death, but I still think Skyreach over anything else is the best place for this, because it's instance. So, but just for the sake of something different, I'm going to use Lion's Den today. I have used this one before, but I don't think I've used it enough, really, so just want to show you just, you know, somewhere else. Alright, so all you've got to do with this one is group up enemies and just kill them. Now, the good thing about this one is I wouldn't recommend it too much, but you can come in with other people and both kill them, because you don't actually have to get the kill with these guys. As long as you participate in some way, that's it. So locations where you have lots of enemies at once is going to be much more valuable to you than places with like small amounts of enemies like delves. So public dungeons, places like Skyreach, dolmens are pretty good too, because there's a lot of enemies through them, but I don't think they're as good as places like this. So the builds with a lot of AoE are going to be good. You know, using abilities like AoE spam builds like Whirlwind is really helpful. But yeah, it just depends on what you've got available. What could be a good idea for this is if you take a character that is leveling stuff, for example leveling class or like skill lines, and do this on them, so that you can get both some, do this real quick, and also just get a little bit of XP, because killing lots of enemies at once also does give you a pretty good amount of XP. But doing that, I would suggest doing dolmens, but understand that dolmens will probably be much slower than public dungeons and Skyreach especially. But yeah, this is a pretty good way as well, because, you know, I was at 9 originally, and if you group up enemies and just come through, it's pretty good. But yeah, you're going to want some heals for places like this, because the enemies are... They're not too bad on their own, but there's many of them, so yeah, you'll usually have a lot to deal with. Try to line of sight ranged enemies to group them up with the other ones. And so if you see enemies in the distance, try and group them all together. So you've got these ones up here, these ones up here, And what might be a good idea is just staying in the middle area and having them all group up. Oh, ooh. Oh yeah, wow. Vigor didn't go off. I've got these enemies up here. This one's there. This one's here. Now keep things like Vigor on you at all times, because they do a lot of damage. On their own they don't, but in big clumps they do, so. The ulti. These guys up here. Now, what I'm running on this character is 5-piece New Means Acolyte and 5-piece Red Eagles. So this is normally my character I use for doing weapon kills, but yeah, I just want to level them up today. I wouldn't really recommend these two sets because they both increase your weapon skill costs, and that causes you to absolutely obliterate your resources. I go something like Order's Wrath and Mother Sorrow, or just something else. If you're Magicka, Mother Sorrow and Order's Wrath, more light armor, and then stamina you could probably just be fine with some Spriggans. Or Venomous. Venomous is pretty good too. You can get Venomous on guild stores. Right, so yeah, got about nearly 100 now. It's, you know, it's taking about 5 minutes just and take off a minute for talking. You know, you can get this done quite quickly. But the only issue I have with doing this with public dungeons like this one, you know, Crowswood's really good. Crowswood's a little out of the way. That's why I suggest this one, because there's lots of enemies in here, but this way shrine is so far out of the you have to travel from here, basically, or here, all the way to the other side of the zone, and so not everyone uses it. But it's not a instance area, so people can just come in here and take this stuff as well. But you know, if you fight these enemies at the same time they do, you'll be able to get a lot of the kills both together. So, you know, places like Forgotten Crypt's really good. Forgotten Wastes is a really good one, I think. There's tons of enemies in there, but I find people use that one a little more than this one. I'm not a fan of Hall of the Dead. I don't like that one. Old Athenium can be pretty good. It only in certain areas though. Rekindler's really good. Relanuels is pretty good. Crimson Cove is amazing. Vile Mance is amazing as well. Yeah, there's a couple of really good ones. Sanguine's Demone is pretty good too. Yeah, you've got places all over the place. You just gotta know where to look. But yeah, I still think Skyreach is the best. So yeah, I'll just do a quick run of that as well, just to show you. So getting the Skyreach is a pain in the ass if you haven't already. My advice is just get someone to take you here. There used to be ways to get here via the way shrines. Oh, sorry, not the way shrines, the capitals. Stormhaven, Elden Root, all that stuff. But they removed it. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. I've gone through this, I feel like, a million times. But yeah, the only way to get here yourself is to go to Bankrai and get here. There's a house you can buy here, or you can just travel via on foot or on mount all the way through. But it takes ages and takes some money. The only other way is to get someone to take you here. That's what I suggest. So I'm going to get this way shrine here, and normally you travel down here. So what you do is, firstly, make sure you've got 50 in Breakfall. This one here. When you've got that, you should be fine. So go forward, and then you point this way. You should survive. Be careful coming down here, because you can take full damage too. I've realized on a stage 4 vampire that you can die there because you don't. I forgot to heal. Is Firstly, if you have an ability that grants you immunity to snares, Evasion's a good example when you morph it to Shuffle. A magical version is Sigic Order. You've got Race Against Time, the morph of Channel Acceleration, because everything in here slows you like crazy. But if you don't have one, it's fine. It's just you'll move a bit slower. Okay, so in this first room, I don't like to pull these guys into the other rooms. I find they bug out a little bit if I do. I group them up. It's just a bunch of melee zombies. They'll stun you. Just be careful. Just make sure you're healing. Make sure you're moving. Like, you look at the bloody movement speed there's there. It's bloody ridiculous. Right, so now, as you're coming through, pull these groups of like bone mounds. You'll see little skeletons in them. These like flame pits also have a bunch of skeletons in them. Oh my god. I'm lagging? What the fuck? My game is lagging super bad right now. Okay. Okay, so what I do now is I take everything and I line of sight them into this corner. Again, make sure you're healing like crazy, because there's going to be a lot of shit coming this way. And when they get in, hit them with the old bing bang bong and go nuts. As I said, have some fucking crazy heals, because there's lots of AoEs on the floor, there's lots of shit going on. There's archers doing take aim. If you see these little orange things in the background, hit them and then go back in, line of sight everything. These ghosts are really annoying. If it's too much, just get out of the pink AoEs. They do a lot of damage. You'll get stunned, you'll get CC'd. Just keep moving. Oh god. There we go. Okay. Got all my sound back. Yeah. Using sets that increase your stamina usage, not great. Okay. There we go. And then basically you do that again, but you just instead of going from here to here, you just go here to here, group up a bunch of enemies here. We got this group. Grab this bone mound as well. There's a chest there as well. I don't have any food. I keep forgetting to get some bloody food. Alright, so same thing. Line of sight them in this corner. Get all the ranged enemies inside. Right. Okay, so when you get to this bit, it's a bit different. So what you want to do is pull this, then pull these groups here. Don't pull these groups first, because you won't be able to open the chest. And brace yourself, because there's going to be a lot of shit spawning. So what I like to do is stun everything here. And just keep moving. Look at that slows on you. That's what I mean. Bring something that removes slows if you can, because they'll be really valuable to you. Either roll dodge or have like a snare removal. And just AoE everything down. Bring lots of AoE with you. These big ones, they will die with the AoE. These guys don't spawn anywhere near as much as the little enemies do. And yeah, you'll be doing this for a while, so just keep doing circles. And that's it. So once you've done that, open the treasure chest, you get some stuff. A bow of martial knowledge, not that that's very good. Now, what happens is, at this point, it's the same thing. So you pull this group here, and you just do it the other way. What I suggest though is not pulling those purple ghosts there, because those ones are fucking brutal. Okay, so same thing. Line of sight everything into this corner, and hit him with the bing bang bong. the wombo combo. There's not really any wombo. Oh my god. Yeah. Way too many take aims there to deal with, I think. Gonna go over here. These enemies. Oh, yeah. It's also one of the silly things to do with my set is not get more crit. Because sorcerers do really well with crit. And that one, and that's it. Okay, so now we just keep doing what we were doing before, just the reverse. So just go back to the entrance. There's this bone mound here, this bone mound here. Line sight the enemies through here. AoE, AoE, AoE. Get out when the AoEs start forming. And that's it. So basically once you get to here, the area is clear and you're done. Now that will probably be about 300 enemies just in this place alone. So they're the only real ways I'd suggest doing this. You can literally do anything. Trials, dungeons, dolmens, anything. But these two methods I think are going to be quicker than anything else. So yeah, that's definitely what I suggest doing. Right, so a couple of things that might help you if you decide to do Skyreach. So as I said in the last bit, channeled acceleration here. You get this from Sigil Order, I believe you get it from Sigil Order 4? About halfway in the Sigil Order skill line. It does take a little bit of doing, but for Magicka builds, I think there's no real one I'd suggest other than this. There's a couple of other options, but most of them cost stamina. Another one is Medium Armor. If you have 5 pieces, you can use Evasion turn to Shuffle, because it gives you the same thing, Snare immunity. But Race Against Time also gives you Major Expedition, which is great. On Nightblades, you don't really need it too much because you've got Path, but yeah, could be helpful. Forward Momentum does the same thing, removes snares for 4 seconds, so you can use that as well. There's a couple of other options, but those are the 3 I'd sort of suggest most of the time. Okay, a few things to help with your Magicka sustain or your stamina sustain. If you want to use the Destruction Staff, using something like Elements or Pulsar, on a Sorcerer this is especially good because you can use Surge at the same time and just keep healing yourself at the same time. But what you can do is use those and you get this passive here, gives you tons of Magicka every time one of these 2 abilities kills people. Same thing with the Destruction Ultimate, can get you a lot of sustain that way. Two-handed has increased stamina recovery when you kill a target just with the weapon equipped, so as long as you just kill someone, that could also be helpful, but takes a bit of time for that to actually get working, so yeah, not as good as Destruction, I think. Some other options, champion points as well. If you go to the red side, you've got Siphoning Spells and you've got Bloody Renewal, same thing, but one's Magicka, Siphoning's Magicka, and then Bloody Renewal's Stamina. Use one, maybe use 2. On some builds I like to use both because I do use both stats a lot. Slippery could also be really helpful because you break free for free, because you're probably using a lot of stamina in places like Skyreach because you get stunned all the bloody time. And then lastly there's a couple of sets. So you've got False Gods, I don't know. False Gods. So every time you get a kill, it gives you Magicka, gives you Major Expedition, and it also reduces the cost of your Magicka skills. Could be really helpful. Vicious Ophidian is the same thing, but for stamina. Sorry, hold on, my bloody cat's snapping on everything. Yeah, but the same thing as False Gods. The only issue is these both come from trials that nobody does anymore. I mean, some people do, but I find they're very infrequent compared to some of the other trials. But, you know, if you see a group going for it, do it, and see if you can get some pieces. You know, rings, like jewelry and a couple of armor pieces maybe, if you can. They'll be best and easiest to do, and then you can just run Orders Wrath with it and fill in the rest of it. Another one that will be easier to get, but only useful on Magicka builds, is going to be Withered Hand. It's not as good for your damage done, and like doesn't reduce the cost of things, doesn't give you Major Expedition, but every time an enemy within 28 meters dies every 3 seconds, you get that much Magicka. Also really, really good for keeping your Magicka sustained, and it also heals you too, so it can be really good. Alright, so the other weekly we've got is Harvest 100 Resources from the World. So this one, I think, is... I'd say it's slower than Defeat 300 Enemies, but it's definitely less work. It's definitely less, it's more chill. This one's quite frantic getting through Skyreach, if you want to do that quickly, but this one's just chillax. Just go across the landscape and just pick up everything you see. So before you start this, understand a couple of things. Firstly, you're probably going to need a little bit of inventory space for this, because all the various random shit that you're going to pick up, it's going to take up a lot of inventory space. So I'd say maybe try and get a character with like 50 slots, or maybe more if you can afford it. But yeah, I think I've got... Oh, never mind. I've got a heap of shit that I fucking haven't stored away, so... Yeah, I'll see how I go with that. So, secondly, you want to build that goes fast. And by fast, I mean its speed cap. The speed cap is approximately 52 meters a second. I do have a video, an old video of this build here, how I set it up, and like everything from champion point sets, what the speed caps are, what the how to reach them, what things affect it, blah blah blah. And if you want to see that, I'll put a link to it in an info card in the video's description, so you can see it. But basically, you want something that goes fast and something that can do this. So just invisibility past enemies. So you want to build like this that can cloak past enemies when you want, and can also fight. Sort of do okay in fighting when the time comes that you need to. So yeah, resources is... There's a lot of stuff that works, there's a couple of things that doesn't. So most natural nodes are going to work, things like wood, ores, platinum, rune stones work as well. Rune stones are actually... I wouldn't yeah, there you go. I wouldn't skimp out on rune stones either, because you get mundane runes. These things actually sell for quite a bit. The only thing is the survey runes don't work, and yeah, I will talk about surveys. So if you have any surveys, these can also be really helpful for doing this, because surveys count as 6 nodes. So 10 surveys takes like 10 minutes-ish to do 10 surveys, and that's like 60 nodes. So you can do that stuff quickly. But the only thing is, survey nodes do not give you housing materials, and some of the housing materials, especially for things like wood with the heartwood and enchanting runes for the mundane runes, these things are quite expensive. Look at heartwood, still going strong at 1,000 gold. They increase the spawn rate for this thing, and it's still very expensive. So yeah, sometimes going through some natural nodes can be good. And yeah, so there's a couple of things that don't work. One of the examples for this is treasure chests. So if I pick up this treasure chest here, we've got 6 out of 100. Yeah, so it hasn't gone up to 7 out of 100. So chests don't work. Killing a random little critters here, like chubloons and little echolets, they don't give you stuff. Even if you kill the big guys, like the echoteers, if these things give you a bunch of rubido hide, it doesn't count. Or clean felt. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that stuff doesn't work, sadly. But yeah, any natural node that you can find on the ground that isn't related to enemies work. So butterfly nodes don't count. Even if you get butterfly wings, they don't count. Got bug loss, that counts, but butterflies don't. So mud crabs don't count. Yes, these butterflies don't count. So the idea is just get a fast character and just go on a looting spree. Just collect everything you can. And as far as places to go, there really isn't one... I mean, there is one better place, and that's Craglorn. I feel like I've done Craglorn to death as well, though. With Craglorn, the only reason that I would suggest this over any other place is, one, it does have a lot of resources all over the place, but there are other zones like this one that have a lot of resources too. I'm in Rothgar, if you're wondering. But Craglorn, the natural resources, like for example the god damn it, I'm trying to find some. So Jury Seams, the wood nodes like the Ruby Ash ore, like the Rubidite ore, sorry, and Ancestor Silk, they all give you have a chance of dropping Nerncrox, and Nerncrox is a very expensive item. It can be. The potent Nerncrox that you get as a weapon trait is about 20 grand more than that at the moment on PCNA anyway. So people tend to go there when these harvesting endeavors come up, because the stuff there is more valuable than anywhere else. But on the one hand, you can get more from those, but you know, you can get oh god, I can't fucking talk today. So you can get those potent or fortified Nerncrox and make a bit of gold on the side, or use them yourself and get meta gear, or you know, but at the same time you have to be you have to understand people are going to be doing the same. There's going to be a lot of people there, I think. I still find you've got places to go to, especially at the opposite of prime time when everyone's asleep. But otherwise, there's so many zones you can use. You know, you've got Rothgar, the old zones like Bankrai, Alakir, all these zones here are great. These ones here are great, especially Reapers. I find it's easy to spot things in this one because there's less desert. I don't like Northern Elsewhere just because how much verticality there is. You go over here and there's just like a massive drop and you have to go around and it's annoying. Shadowfen's kind of annoying, especially for alchemy plants because everything is green and it's swampy everywhere. Same with Vardenfell. There's a lot of water here that like gets in your way, especially on this side and this side, and you would get like taken off your mount all the way time. But the northern side's usually not too bad. Gold Road's pretty good. You know, there's so many zones to choose from. You know, DLC or not, and yeah, you just got to find a place where nobody else is and go from there. Regarding surveys, so if you want to know something to easily find surveys, I know it does show you where they are on the map here. It's quite easy to use, but you can also use because there is some surveys. Do I have a jury one? No, I don't. The jury surveys are an example. They changed the way those work. No, I'm trying to find one that shows it. I got a jury survey and it was like in wording. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So something that can help with this is if you go Lost Treasure, this add-on here, this one gives you pins. I think you have to enable them sometimes in here. Yeah, this bit here, I think you have to enable it sometimes, otherwise it doesn't work. Yeah, show on map. Show pins and play map. Why isn't that turned on? Interesting. Yeah, what it'll do is it'll show them up like this, and so you can easily find them on the map without having to have the survey thing up as well. On PC, you also get the thing that shows it on the left there. But yeah, if you don't want to have that taking up your screen, you know, you can just use the mini map instead. Yeah, when you find the surveys, it's just 6 nodes. Regardless of whatever node, which survey you get, it'll always be 6 nodes, and there'll always be 6 random like things where you get more than a lot more than what you normally get from a single regular node. So these can be really valuable for writs because it gives you a ton of stuff to use for your writs, and you get these from writs, right? So you put in resources for writ, and every now and then you get a survey to give you back some of the resources, so it's really valuable. So using these surveys is rewarding, and if you can get the surveys, it's great. Yeah, as I said before, some things don't work, torch bugs. These things here also don't count. So yeah, basically anything that's like living insects, anything that's chest related, so chest, thieves' throws, they don't work. Physic portals also don't count, so don't use those. But yeah, basically everything else is fair game. Alright, if you've got any other questions for me, just let me know. But yeah, that should be everything for now. Thanks everyone. See you next time. And yeah, take care.